Hey, this is Victor Antonio with a quick sales influence tip just for you. One of the questions I often get is, Victor, how do I position myself as an authority, right? How do I position myself so that people will listen to me? How do I position myself where people will pay attention? How do I position myself where people will take me seriously? Now, this is a great question because how do you do that? And how do you do it quickly? Now, if you're a young person, pay attention because this is especially just for you. Because young people have a hard time dealing with people who are older than them because they're not taken seriously. So how do you position yourself with authority regardless of your age? Here's what you do. It is the quality of your questions that will determine how people perceive you. Let me say that again because I really want you to get this. It is the quality of your questions that will determine a customer, a prospect's perception of you. See, if you know how to ask great questions, questions that kind of push the client mentally back on their heels and make them go, you know, nobody's ever asked that question. You know, I never looked at it that way. Wow, that's a different way of looking at it. When you can get a customer to kind of go, I never looked at it that way, that's when you know you're asking quality questions. See, what I want you to do is practice not on what you have to say during the presentation, practice on what you need to ask. Because when you ask powerful questions, people perceive you as somebody who knows, who's insightful, has wisdom, has experience, has thought about this, and it's not just talking and doing a PowerPoint presentation. So what I want you to do is list out 10 of your best questions that you want to ask a customer during your sales presentation, right? Or one-on-one conversation, doesn't matter. But what I want you to do is to really think about, what can I ask? What can I ask clients that will make them really think deeply about our product or our service? See, when you can do that, they're going to look at you differently. Like, you know, this person's different. They're asking me questions that nobody else, no other salesperson has asked me. And see, when you do that, when you can get the customer to see you differently than the other salesperson, then you begin to win. Because in today's market, all products are almost equal. All services are almost equal. But when a salesperson can differentiate themselves by asking deeper questions, more expanding questions than the salesperson with the other product that's similar to yours, but you're different because you're thinking differently. You thought about this more deeply. Now, you're probably asking, well, Victor, how do I develop these questions? Well, what I want you to do is first, put yourself in the customer's shoes. See, it's something that's so simple, but we don't do it. Put yourself in the customer's shoes. Feel their pain. I really empathize with what they're going through, what their struggles are, what their concerns are, what's keeping them up at night. See, as salespeople, we don't do that often enough. See, we study the specs. Yep, learn the product, study the specs, right? And we look at our presentation, right? We study the presentation, we practice what to say. And again, but what customers want to know from you is that how can you help them? And the only way to help them is to, one, understand their business, right? Understand their business, but also understand what's going on in the market. So if you can understand the business, understand what's going on in the market, and then find a way to say, how does this product help you? Here's how our product can help you with the market and your business and position you better. That's what they're looking for. That's what customers want today. They don't want a sales pitch. Do you hear me? They don't want a sales pitch. They don't want to be sold to. They want to be educated. They want to be empowered. Those two words. They want to be educated. They want to be empowered. And they want to know that you empathize with them. So let's put them all together. If I can empathize with my customer, if I can educate them in terms of what they need to know, what they need to understand when buying a product or service, and I do it in such a way by asking powerful questions, right? Questions that I've thought about, and then I empower them to make a decision, and I'm going to ask questions to guide them to make the right decision, which is to buy from me. That if you can do that, you will have a more powerful presentation. Because again, it's not about product anymore. It's not about service. on balance, they're almost the same. You're no different than the guy down the street, so to speak. So then how do you differentiate yourself? Through questions, through asking things that nobody else is asking. See, in today's world, you, yes, you, the salesperson, you are the differentiator. For the first time, I think, in the history of selling, the salesperson has now become the ultimate differentiator. When products are equal, there is product parity, there is service parity. You are the differentiator. So in sales, you are more important than ever. But in order to sell, it's not about what you sell, it's about how you sell. And how you sell is all about asking powerful questions. Remember, the average salesperson practices what to say. But the best salespeople practice what to ask. Because by asking the right questions, you position yourself as an authority, you control the conversation, you can guide the conversation to arrive at a conclusion that you've already predetermined, which is to buy your product or your service. So do me a favor, from this moment on, let's start asking not only questions just for the sake of asking them, let's start asking customers questions that our competitors are not asking. And if you can do that, you will sell more effectively. This is Victor Antonio, always reminding you that selling ain't hard when you know how. Take care.